Hi everyone, I'm Alicia, and I wanted to talk to you about capsule wardrobes and minimalism. And I've taken a couple of photos of my existing wardrobe. I'm actually currently wearing one of the pieces that I didn't photograph because I didn't own any jumpers, and I have an annual capsule wardrobe rather than a seasonal capsule wardrobe, so mine is for the year. And I guess my question around capsule wardrobes would be, if you have one, how often do you think you should update it? And how should you care for the clothes that are in your wardrobe? And what makes it look minimalist? I've heard a lot of people say that if you have a minimalist closet, that it should basically be entirely neutrals because colour sticks in people's minds. And I'm going to say something that might be a little bit controversial, is that I think if you wear a lot of colour, then effectively for you, colour becomes a neutral because that's what you wear. I mean, if I look at my wardrobe, which by the way I can see it's over that way, so if I'm glancing that way, that's what I'm thinking. I have black, and I do use black quite a bit as a base, but mostly for trousers and skirts. But I have, other than that, I've got purple, pink, blue, and like a sort of a telly green. A lot of pink and a lot of purple, actually. That's primarily the colours I like to wear. So for me, those would kind of be my neutral palette. And then when I was choosing jumpers, I've got another one coming that I've bought second hand. This one's sparkly, and I caved and I bought it new. In saying that, the store that I purchased it from, I asked them about the factories and the conditions of the people who work and produce the garments, and I also then found the company on a list, and I'm satisfied that they are one of the better, more ethically minded companies while still being within a price point that I can vaguely afford. Because let's face it, what you can afford is also important. But I've the idea of owning less, that's higher quality, and basically my outlay on clothing in general is lower. This I love. I'm kind of challenged about the idea of how often I should purchase, what I should purchase, and how I should care for the garments that I own. For example, I have this beautiful icebreaker top. By the way, I love icebreaker, especially as someone who rides a motorcycle. It goes great under everything. And they're fantastic layering pieces, and their fashion pieces are beautiful. I love icebreaker. But anyway, this icebreaker top, courtesy of Kat, who lives at my mum's place, kind of left me with a couple of holes because he was having a bad day and was a bit upset, and I was trying to give him a cuddle, and he was like, no, I'm panicked, I'm freaking out about life right now. And understandably was like, scribble, get away, and my top was a casualty. So now I'm going, what do I do with this top? So I have embroidery through. So my plan is, rather than chucking this top, I'm going to make a feature out of the fact that there's these two holes, and I'm going to embroider around the holes and make it look like they're deliberate, even though they're not deliberate at all. Because I think the other thing is if they're like sort of pieces that I can wear all the time, and I love them, what's the point of updating seasonally? Because even if I'm doing that via a thrift store, I still feel like I'm buying into consumerism, buying into this need to own more, to purchase more, to kind of, whereas I think if I go with classic pieces, I don't actually see a reason why I need to, purchase on such a regular basis. As a matter of fact, there is a top in my wardrobe, which is actually part of my sort of fancier wardrobe. So I do sort of have like a going out kind of part of my wardrobe, which involves like weddings, parties, going to church, that side of things. There is a top in there, which I think has been around since like the 80s or 90s. My mum both designed and made this top. I love this top. I wear this top a lot. It's beautiful. I get compliments on it. And it really is just a classic piece. And so I don't see the point in doing anything to... fire alarm needs a new battery, smoke alarm, whatever. But anyway, I don't see any point in replacing a piece that's beautiful. I'd rather care for it, look after it, hand wash it, all of those sorts of things. I'd rather take good care of it or mend it than discard it. I've been studying fashion for 3 years now, and one of the things that I discovered is that the only thing that we purchase more of than clothing is food, which actually goes off and which actually rots and decomposes. The only thing we purchase more of than clothing is food. And the fact that we're purchasing so much in the way of clothing is ridiculous. And I think the thing is that even with the idea of thrifting, if we are constantly buying and constantly consuming, we're still fueling the fast fashion model that creates this churn where we, instead of having 4 seasons, with fast fashion we're at the point where they release new stock every week. We have a 52 season. We effectively have 52 seasons in a year. Not 4, but 52, because new stock is released in the fast fashion chains weekly. So basically, the minute you buy it, it's out of fashion anyway. So as far as I'm concerned, why not choose clothes that fit me, that suit my body, suit my style, suit my shape, that I love, that I'm going to get a lot of wear out of, and that basically, well, you know what, when it dies, I'll replace it. But in the meantime, I will mend it, I will care for it, and it will take on a life of its own. And when there's a hole and I do something like darn it or mend it, and I can embroider something pretty over it, then I end up with a garment that's unique to me, that no one else owns. And I think there's this thing is we feel like we have to spend all of this money in order to create a personality in our wardrobe, to create a style. Whereas I think there's sort of something about the process of letting things happen organically. So I guess maybe a question would be, what do you do if you don't know how to sew, if you don't know how to embroider, if you don't have these skill sets? I would suggest that there are potentially communities, groups within your community where you can learn, or you might know someone who has that skill set, and maybe you'd suggest to them that they run a workshop so people can learn how to care for their garments, how to mend their garments. So, for a nominal price, someone can learn how they can take something in their wardrobe and actually change it and make it something beautiful. And you know what, if they can't afford to, they could pay someone else to care for that garment. So, I think the thing is, what does minimalism look like? And how does it fit within sustainability? And I guess for me, that's probably a bigger issue, because one of the things that I've discovered while studying fashion is just what a hugely wasteful industry it is. And that really, in terms of sustainability, the industry itself has a lot to answer for. But we as individuals have a huge amount of power to make decisions that are impactful, not just on our own lives, but on the lives of everyone else around us. Now, there's no instant fix. I'd like to point that out. It's a really complex issue. You've got people who have jobs as a result of fast fashion, but you only have to look at things like Rana Plaza, where hundreds of people died because a garment factory collapsed, to know that we can't do nothing, that we have to start asking tough questions of the companies that we buy for about the conditions that the factory workers have, what the labour laws are like in the countries that they produce in. By the way, China has better labour laws and has better conditions for their workers than Pakistan. So if you find a garment that says it's like made in India, made in Pakistan, made in Bangladesh, start asking hard questions of those companies, because if they know you care, if they know that you won't purchase items, if they don't ensure that the people producing those garments have better conditions, they'll start making changes. And the thing is, maybe you won't get that top for $6 anymore. Maybe that top will cost $8, but maybe that person in Bangladesh can actually afford to visit their family. Maybe they can afford to eat well. Maybe the producers of that, maybe the owners of that factory can actually afford to invest in a building that's structurally sound and protect the lives of their workers. So those are just a few thoughts. Hopefully this wasn't too much of a rant. If you have any questions or comments, please ask and I will endeavour to do my best to answer. And I will be posting some photos on my Instagram of what I'm doing with my capsule wardrobe, how I'm wearing it. So yeah, anyway, let me know what you're interested in and feel free to subscribe.